Alright boys, so today we're going to be doing a bit of an experiment. This question has been asked countless times since the 1.9 update, but recently I've seen it surface a lot more because of Dream using axes pretty much exclusively in his last few manhunts. So in this video, me and my friend fought a bunch of times in a bunch of different situations with me using an iron axe and him using an iron sword, with and without shields to really give us as concrete of an answer as we can get. First, we fought in a forest. We did 2 rounds with shields and 2 rounds without shields, and I won all 4 with my axe. It's not like I played especially well either. In fact, I probably would have lost a couple of those fights if both of us used swords. But that just shows how powerful the axe really is. Well, at least in a forest fight. We still have a bunch of other scenarios to look at. Speaking of, next we fought on a mountain. We did 4 fights with shields and 6 fights without shields. The reason why we did so many rounds is because the mountain added so many more variables during the fights, and the fights were a lot closer too. Ultimately though, the axe did come out on top, with it getting 3 out of 4 wins with shields and 4 out of 6 wins without shields. So if you ever find yourself fighting someone on top of a mountain, an axe is better, but just know you still definitely have a chance with the sword, especially if you both don't have shields. Next, we fought in an ocean. This was an absolute blowout for the axe, with us doing 4 rounds with shields and 2 without. The reason we didn't do more shieldless rounds was because the axe won all 4 shielded rounds and both shieldless rounds, so there was really no point. I think the reason the axe did so well in the ocean is because the swimming and water mechanics made it so that there was a decent gap in between each hit, giving the axe enough time to fully recharge almost every time. And of course, when an axe and sword trade hits when they're fully charged, the axe wins every time. So my conclusion is to always use an axe in the water if you can, because it gives such a great advantage. Next, we fought in a plains biome. We did 2 fights with shields and 5 fights without shields. The axe won both fights with shields, however it got its first loss by losing 3 out of the 5 rounds without shields. The reason for this is that in the open, the person with the sword can attack quickly and overwhelm the person with an axe. However, this can still be overcome by the axe player getting crits during the fight, which I found to make a huge difference. I got crits in 2 out of the 5 fights and the axe won both of them, while it lost in the 3 rounds where I didn't manage to get crits. Ultimately, if shields are involved, definitely go with an axe in a plains biome, but if they're not involved, you could go for a sword and try to overwhelm your opponent, or go for an axe and rely on crits to win you the fight. It ultimately depends on your playstyle. Lastly, we fought in a 1x1. We didn't bother using shields since they would have unnecessarily complicated things. We did 5 fights and the results actually surprised me. In the first 2 fights, I didn't wait for the axe to recharge all the way and pretty much swung it every time it was about halfway charged, so the sword won both times. But then I tried letting the axe charge all the way and really focus on getting crits for the last 3 matches, and the axe won all of them. I mean, the health I had left during those 3 rounds varied, but all 3 times the axe still won. So if you find yourself in a 1x1 situation, you have to make sure to let your axe charge all the way. Of course, you should try to do that for all fights you have with an axe, but especially in 1x1s, because that makes all the difference. Okay, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I tried to get the results as accurate as possible, but I'm definitely open to any suggestions on how I can improve in the future. With that being said, if you have any more suggestions for experiments I can do, please comment them below. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more, and other than that, peace out.